Welcome to Group Dates and Hot Takes, a Bachelor Nation podcast. I'm Sampy.
I'm Christy, and we're recapping Clayton's season of The Bachelor.
Welcome back, everyone, to what could possibly be the longest episode of our entire lives here on Group Dates and Hot Takes. I don't know about you, Christy. Yeah. We will try to keep this as concise as possible, but let's be totally honest. ABC has zero respect for our time, and they just keep on packing it in here.
Well, you know, Clayton made so many mistakes, they couldn't shortchange us.
I guess not, but at the same time, I kind of wish we could have this could have been the entire season and we, not have to deal with Shanae or anything.
Well, yeah, I actually wouldn't have minded that, like if they had stretched out, given us more footage of the end and less of the beginning.
Yeah. It was just too much. All right, there's only so much I can take. All right, and this was a lot.
Yeah, one of the wildest endings I've seen.
Yeah, well, without further ado, let's get into, really starting with episode 11 of the show, their Monday night segment.
Yes, we are in a church. There wasn't much explanation for this, but...
Well, it's a church that I have been in.
Oh, you went to this church too?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's just a big old giant church in the center of Reykjavik. That's right.
Yeah, well, Clayton was just looking very sad and sullen because Susie had left.
Oh, she just broke his heart.
He's so distraught. Shattered his trust.
How was she the one who shattered his trust? I mean, come on.
I don't know.
Ugh.
And so now he wonders if Rachel and Gabby will still want to keep going. And he also says if they stick it out, it's a testament to the love we have. Just so many strange things he said. And now we have the rose ceremony from hell, which Jesse keeps teasing over and over again.
Yeah, particularly since, right, this whole thing, this is all with a live studio audience.
Oh, yes. And so I think Jesse did a good job just, having a good poker face as Rachel and Gabby come up. And what happens next is I would consider this Clayton's third mistake of fantasy suites. The first two being, the double I love yous to Rachel and Gabby and sleeping with them. But
only his third mistake?
Well, if you kind of group some mistakes together, I suppose.
Okay.
just in the Iceland part.
Oh, great. We're grouping mistakes now. And
So, yes, this group confession, I suppose, where he explains everything to them, like telling Susie if I was intimate, I was in love with you guys, she can't continue, blah, 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 I'm in love with both of you, and I was intimate with both of you. And the looks on their faces were pretty telling. He also says there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Just okay.
Yeah, I did not like this at all. I mean,
no, this was bad.
Yeah, I don't even know what to say.
Everything about it is wrong.
Oh yeah,
like he's outing their sex lives to the entire country, and just like saying it to both of them at the same time, there's something really weird about that.
Yeah, it's like I hate to flame people too much here because I don't necessarily know the entire context, but this whole just blurting this out in front of both of them instead of giving both of them individual time and actually like giving them an opportunity to hear it directly individually and respond like that just seems like it seems a bit cowardly to me.
Yeah, like at least give them the courtesy of learning this without the other girl that you also slept with hearing it.
Right, it just kind of it felt to me like he was just like, oh, I don't want to have to deal with that, so like here it is, guys, like I can't, like transparency is so important, so I got, but
yeah, the amount of times he said transparency as an excuse for not like doing things correctly was too much.
So many times. A lot of justification.
And so obviously this news doesn't go over well, and both of them leave sobbing. And we didn't mention like the building they were in. You've also been in, correct?
Well, for the rose ceremony, yes. The
it's massive, like echoey, cool looking building. Mm-hmm. I don't remember the name.
It's called something or other. It's like the Harpan Convention Center or something, or concert hall. Yeah, it's just I'm sure this is why they picked it, but it's just this giant sort of modern art type thing. Like it's just sort of has this glass honeycomb looking exterior. I guess it's supposed to be inspired by the Icelandic landscape. Not sure how exactly, but
I thought it looked cool. But
yeah, it's very cool. It's also very recognizable, which is why I was like, I'm pretty sure I've been in there.
Yeah, and so Rachel goes down the stairs, and like throughout the next 5 minutes, you can just hear her sobs like echoing off the walls. Clayton can hear it. Like Clayton is still like up at the top.
It was so funny. He's like going on with the rest of his life, and you just in the background, you just like, just cost. Oh
yeah.
I mean, I feel bad for her, but man, was that hilarious.
Yeah.
Just the package of all of that stuff happening at the same time.
It was a pretty epic scene.
Yeah, that is basically, as an explanation, like this building, it just has this giant like multi-level lobby, I guess, with all these levels of staircases, and so it's pretty much an empty space, and it's huge, and so it just the reverberation, yeah, it's just absolutely off the charts. So of course they didn't like pull her into like a little room or anything. They're just like, here, let's just walk you down to the bottom of the stairs, like the entranceway here. Definitely won't be exposed by the acoustics at all. Oh.
And then Jesse walks in and says the most obvious thing he could have possibly said. They're hurt right now.
No.
And so eventually, after a lot more crying with producers and everything, Gabby talks to Clayton, and he's like, oh, I allowed myself to fully explore. That's another phrase of his that he likes as a justification for his actions. And then Gabby rightly says exploring doesn't mean saying I love you to everybody. Like, that's not what that means.
Yeah. So much discomfort.
And Clayton just keeps trying to rationalize. He's like, whoever I pick, I love the most, and that will mean all the other love was real, but it will end when he picks someone. It's like, okay, I like sort of get that. And then she asks,
except
why?
it also doesn't make any sense.
Not really. She's also asking, like, why wouldn't he just save the I love you till the end? And he's like, oh, I need to express my real feelings. Another one of his favorite catchphrases.
Yeah. Again, I feel like if you're in that situation, you have to be able to, like, lead with empathy, or like lead with tact, maybe lead with like situational awareness, all of those different things, because really, in my opinion, in my perspective, he didn't really consider the contestants there. Like,
No.
he just got so wrapped up into, this is my journey and I have to explore things, when it's like, well, maybe you should take a step back and think about the other people in this situation. Just like how he kept justifying how, like, you know, he was so in love with Susie, and if she had expressed to him that she didn't want him sleeping with other people or whatever it was, like, that's all she had to do. That's all, like, but come on, man, like, use your brain, like.
Yeah, she shouldn't have to tell you that.
Well, but also, like, how are you so wrapped up in this thing that you don't stop for a moment to think that, oh, maybe, like, that actually is like what another person would expect, particularly as we've seen that, like, Susie definitely seemed to be his favorite. So
yeah.
If she really is, then why are you jeopardizing that by, quote unquote, exploring?
Yeah, that was the $1 million question I had from last week. Like, if Susie's the one you love the most, there is no reason for you to have slept with the other two other than, I want to have my cake and eat it too. It's like, I get to sleep with 3 women and still get engaged at the end. Win-win. Except Susie thwarted that, but I feel like that was his plan.
Yeah, so
yes, Gabby does not buy this.
Yes, and it shouldn't be a surprise to people that Clayton does not end up looking good after this.
No. And so now it's time to talk to Rachel, and has to do the same song and dance of begging.
Yeah, he has to beg both of them. Like, come on,
so
you just gotta give it a chance.
Yeah, says this isn't over. This could be us in the end. Which I think he said that same thing to Gabby. Like, we can take this day by day.
As I'm exploring everything else. Don't worry about it, though. It could be you.
How reassuring.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed that Gabby chose to meet his family.
Yeah, I thought, like, she even, like, so, like, when they went back to the, like, podium or whatever, Rachel accepts the rose. Gabby says no, which Rachel looks very surprised at this. And so Clayton, like, starts to walk Gabby out, but then, like, he stops and does a lot of begging. I don't know. I don't really know why she stayed.
Yeah. I love too at the end there. He's just like, he has the two of them. He's like, so am I supposed to, like, raise a glass? Like, this is more of a funeral type situation. I feel like I'm not sure I should be, like, making a super excited toast here.
Yeah, it was a bit of an awkward vibe.
Yeah. Well, let's move on so we don't spend eternity on this episode.
Yeah, so we are back in studio for some reason they had these alumni to give us their thoughts on what has transpired so far. This time we had Michelle, Nick, and Claire.
A pretty weak showing, if I do say so myself.
The problem was they didn't give us... Well, Michelle and Claire, to me, didn't give me much. That it's okay, Clayton didn't handle it well, Claire said.
No crap.
I think we could see that. And then Nick did have this one point where he said that he never told Gabby and Rachel that Susie is the one he loved the most, which if they knew that, they never would have stayed. So.
Right.
But yeah, that was about all that came from that segment.
Yeah. Not helpful.
So next it is time to meet Clayton's parents and brothers.
Oh, boy. What did you think about his family?
I thought his parents were great. Because once he explains, everything that happened with Susie and that there's still 2 women left, the dad is well, it's understandable Susie left. It's yeah, it absolutely is. And mom's I don't understand you being in love with 3 people. Also accurate.
She's back in my day, we only fell in love with one person.
I just thought they were very, realistic. And, gave him some crap, which he deserved.
Yeah, Yes, that was who screwed the pooch here.
Yeah.
I did see a variety of reactions to his family. I think one big one was there's a segment of people who thought that his family should have disowned him and similar.
Oh. Well, they are being filmed, so.
Yeah, I guess that's later.
Yes, and mom even worries that the 2 remaining girls are consolation prizes.
No, that
Big
could
oof.
never be the case.
Clayton reassures her they are not, but he is lying.
Christy, you can't say that, okay? He just hadn't... he was still on his journey then, all right? Jeez, don't be calling our leads a liar. Unbelievable.
So it is Gabby's turn. I don't know. This whole meeting the parents was just strange to watch. Just because of everything that had happened, and so it's just not the same vibe or I don't know that we usually get.
Particularly since I had complete and utter confidence that neither of these women were going to be getting engaged to him at the end.
Yeah. I mean, it just kind of seemed like a sham.
Yeah, I did. His Clayton's dad trying to see the bright side. like with Gabby, his whole thing about maybe it'll all work out and this time will make you stronger. Sure, he respects the fact that you walked away.
Yeah, they're putting on a brave face, but I feel like you can tell the family is not completely convinced.
Just off camera, Clayton, what are you doing? You're embarrassing us. Ugh, yeah. Just a lot of, I don't know, fairly generic stuff in terms of oh yeah, I'm falling in love and he's so great and I can't give up on him and he's so great. It's the one thing I've never met anyone as genuine and open-hearted. I don't know about the genuine thing after all this stuff has gone down, but like way too open-hearted.
Yeah, that's true.
Like when you want to, well, when you want to and do actually screw everything that moves, perhaps you need to tone down the open-heartedness.
For sure. So yeah, the show didn't spend a whole lot of time on this, which they didn't need to. So we moved on to Rachel next. It's kind of more of the same. I think they liked her more. I feel like because she didn't leave briefly there, but
Yeah, maybe so.
she does say she would accept a proposal from him. So even after all that, she's still willing.
That is. And the audacity, the fact that after all of this nonsense, that we still had 3 kisses in the first episode. I was gobsmacked, flabbergasted.
Yeah, I don't think he deserved those.
No, and then the obvious, oh, you're gonna hurt somebody.
Yeah, and this is where the show takes a turn. Because after this song and dance of meeting his family with both women, he's like, I can't stop thinking about Susie. So to me, that was then his 4th mistake, was introducing the women to his family.
Yeah, because that really...
It's so messed up.
Yeah, because honestly, like... And at some level, I would maybe even go so far as to say that is cruel. Because after all of the justifying that he did, all of the begging for them to give it a chance, like all of that literally meant nothing.
Yep.
Like the fact that they went and met with his family, like that was a step on their part, being like, okay, like, yeah, I wasn't really happy with what happened, but like I'm gonna continue to give you a chance. And I don't feel like that was totally in good faith on his part.
Nope.
Like he just, I don't know, it was almost like a like this contingency plan.
Yeah, he basically had them as backup.
I don't like that.
No, you can't play with people's emotions like that. But he says his heart is beyond these walls with Susie. And Dad points out Susie didn't think so. His mom was like, she left you, but he still is going to push past all of that. Dad says he's grasping at straws. She made the decision to leave. But Clayton is convinced he can get through to her. Dad says he's too caught up in the one who got away. And Mom asked, why did he screw it up by sleeping with the other 2? I don't know that he ever answered that question.
No, I don't think he did.
But yeah, that was important. So then Jesse comes in, I guess basically to inform them Susie is still in Iceland.
Dun dun dun.
And so
what a plot twist.
That's kind of the cliffhanger for that episode, except we have this short little like alumni segment right before the end of the show, which I knew it had to be real short because it was already like 10:58 or something when they started this segment, or 9:58. So we had Rodney, Caitlin, and Cassie. Now, do you know who Cassie is?
No clue.
So she was the one who was with Colton.
Oh, so she's the one from Paradise where her No, a
she
different
never went
one.
to Paradise.
Oh, okay.
So at the end of
at
the end of Colton's season, did you hear about when he jumped the fence?
Rumors. I don't know the actual details though.
So he So Cassie was the one he like really wanted all season. Then there was some like messing around from the producers where they like flew her dad out to like whatever country they were in, and she basically, I guess, decided, okay, Colton's not really for me, and so she eliminated herself. Well, Colton got so mad that he like literally like left his room or whatever and hurled himself over the fence of wherever they were staying and just like bolted. And was like hiding in like some bushes or something along the side of the road. They eventually found him, and like he like eliminated Tasha and Hannah G, and so then begged Cassie basically to continue. They didn't leave the show engaged, but they dated for like a while until they broke up, and then at some point after that is when he did all that horrible stalking and like.
So he was stalking
stuff.
her.
Cassie, yes.
Okay.
So I thought it was interesting to see her there tonight, especially when she brought up the point of saying Susie should trust her intuition and not feel pressure to give a happy ending to the show, which is basically like hint hint, I felt pressure from the show to give you guys a happy ending and then was stuck with
Christy, the show doesn't pressure anybody to do anything of any kind.
Oh, sure they don't.
Okay.
So. And then Rodney says Clayton should follow his heart.
I think he's been following his heart a little too much. It's time to let his brain take over. If he still has one.
That would be nice.
Ugh. That's so uncomfortable.
And so, time for finale night, I guess, or the second part. Which, man, I thought, like, after night 1, I thought, okay, that was kind of wild. I feel like night 2 is even wilder, in a way.
Yeah.
Which I kind of wasn't expecting, but. So we have this voiceover from Clayton saying you don't realize what you have until it's gone.
Then why did you sleep with everyone else?
Yeah, I bet he wishes he could take that back. So we start with Susie getting a knock on her door from Jesse. And he basically tells her Clayton regrets everything and wants to see her.
I guess I'll take this opportunity to say this. I really hope that he has a lot of guilt over this season. Not as a punishment, but just from the fact that he has said right that like he's learned so much and it's like become a better person. So I hope that that's actually true, because this season was a whole lot of nonsense. Let me tell you.
It was.
Okay, sorry. I had to blurt that out.
So, I guess they brought Susie. I guess this must be a different day because I think they're all wearing different clothes, like with the parents. But Susie arrives and like walks in, and it's like super awkward because she hasn't talked to Clayton yet. So she like shakes the parents' hands, but then she takes him outside and says all the things that she needed to say. That she was shocked when he like got angry, and it was humiliating. I felt like a stray dog you shooed out. It was embarrassing.
Tough to hear.
Yeah. Made me feel wrong, so then Clayton has to apologize. Didn't mean the things I said. I got scared. Fear overcame me. I would do anything. Is there any way you can give me a second chance? She says she needs time to think. So.
That's so terrible.
You mean him begging?
Just the entire thing.
Yeah, I wouldn't call him telling her all that stuff one of his mistakes.
But no, I'm just saying. Like it is a train wreck of monumental proportions. I mean, I don't even have. I have a good vocabulary. I don't even have the words to describe how much of a train wreck this is.
Yeah, it really was. It was some good TV.
It's just, what are you doing? Why are you the way that you are?
So next, he is riding in an SUV on his way to tell the other women that he wants Susie. And so Gabby and Rachel, for some reason, are together in a room. I have to say, this is not normal. Final two are like always separate. So the fact that they were in there together, I guess maybe Clayton asked for that.
Oh yeah, because he didn't want to have to break up with them individually again.
Yeah, that must be why they were together. Because I heard on one of the podcasts he was on, he said he saw like how much they like comforted each other at that rose ceremony, and so we thought maybe telling them together would give them like somebody to lean on.
I don't like that reasoning.
Yeah, this was mistake number whatever we're at, 5. Telling them together.
I love how you're trying your hardest to keep track of these, the number of them. Like there are so many.
Yes. So at this point, we have Gabby's grandpa picture in picture in the corner. Which whoever brought back this picture in picture was genius, because they've done this like once before, I think, for the finale.
I just honestly, I have to say, the fact that Gabby did not just sock him in the face on multiple occasions, I mean, what a testament to the willpower she must have.
She probably wanted to, but she did use her words instead.
Just but what he put her through, dear Lord Almighty.
Yes, so Clayton tells both of them at the same time, I've caused so much pain, wish I could take it all back, saw a future with you guys. And then this line, it's not possible for me to be in love with 3 women like I said I was. Why didn't you figure that out like 4 days ago, whatever it was you started handing out I love yous? Says my heart is with Susie. Sorry, didn't mean to hurt you. And then Gabby walks off. Says I don't have anything to say. So Clayton follows her. Which that could have been a mistake as well, but she says, I don't know who you are anymore. You don't give a bleep about me. You asked me to stay because your pride was hurt because Susie left. You didn't want it to be my decision, which totally agree with all of that. It's like Clayton didn't want them to be able to leave on their own. It's like he's taking away their agency a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, he wanted to be on his terms.
Yeah. She's like, you could have pulled us aside or just us as a group. And Clayton says, nothing I can say, but sorry. He asks, can he walk her out? And she responds with the best no I've ever seen. It was like this look of disgust and anger and head shake. I saved the gift from it. It was so good.
Yeah, even I don't know. I can't even. I can't even. Like just the so many emotions, all of them anger.
Yeah, so now we are back in studio. Gabby comes out and says she's gotten more clarity watching it back gotten closure, felt betrayed, which to me are all valid emotions.
Can you imagine how much worse it must have been to even watch that back? Because, like,
Yeah.
you're in the moment and you're feeling all these things and you're reacting the way that she did. And then you, like, see it and we're like, oh, yeah, I was totally on the money there. It was worse than I could have even imagined.
Yeah, it must have been so frustrating watching it back. Like, seeing yourself, like, supposedly fall in love, but also getting played at the same time. And so Clayton comes out now to join her, and man, he did not look happy to be there. Like he was walking to his death or something.
Well, I mean, she did kind of read him the riot act, which was well deserved.
As she should have. Basically felt misled, wasn't given all the info and deciding to leave or not, betrayed. I think this might have been where Clayton had the "sorry you feel that way" apology, which
guys, our audience, I hope all of you know this already, but if you ever go to apologize to someone, do not do it in that way. Apologizing by by saying something like that, like, I'm sorry you felt that way, I'm sorry you were offended, accepts zero responsibility for your own actions whatsoever, and puts everything on how the other person reacted, which is no apology at all.
Yep, and Gabby was not finished. She says, your transparency had conditions. You compartmentalized, supposedly, all the relationships, but it was really just muddled. It was more like a competition. I'm guessing she's referring to the whole who I love the most.
Right.
So dumb.
Yeah, because she didn't want to have to compete for his love, and that, which was, that is a little strange, because at some level, right, you are competing for the lead's love, but, like, usually not quite at that level.
Yeah. She also rightly pointed out that, like, when you love someone, you also care and protect them. And he didn't do that. He basically just dismissed them, and that he doesn't know the weight his words carry.
Yeah. Basically, get it together, Clayton.
Yeah, so lots of applause when she was saying all this stuff. So.
Yes, the audience was not super on the side of Clayton in this episode.
No. So now we have to go back to Iceland, and boy, he's got to repeat the same thing with Rachel. And she just cried so much.
It's also just, it's just not a great look, but also just, it's not a great way, in my opinion, of carrying out your life. Having to, like, beg people to give you a chance romantically. That doesn't seem like a very healthy way to start a relationship. It's fairly coercive.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to beg. But when you make so many mistakes, well.
Ugh.
So, yeah, Rachel points out a lot of what you were saying earlier, like, she was willing to fight, like, she believed him, met his parents. Basically, he never fought for them.
I love how she is like, yeah, like, I forget her exact words, but basically, like, you're gonna regret this so much, like, choosing me.
Yeah. She even says in the car he didn't even shed a tear.
No. He sent her off. He sent her off, and he was basically fine.
Yeah. Stone-faced.
So much love.
So back in the studio, Rachel is there, and she looks mad. Like, I would be too. Like, she said it was hard watching it back, not knowing what was going on behind the scenes, getting blindsided, all the disrespect. Also pointed out how she was robbed of the opportunity to stand up for herself because she was basically begging to stay, which that's a good point too.
Both of them
so dirty.
Both of them were pretty irritated, but yeah, Rachel in particular. I loved just her like, I don't believe you.
Oh yeah, so Clayton comes out and I don't know, I guess he must have said something where she said, I don't believe you. He must have tried to apologize. And she's like, you left out the most important things, which he did. Talked about the group breakup.
Oh, that was totally normal, Christy.
So then Jesse decides to go to Tony.
Yeah, which
this is so messy.
I love how he's like, do you have anything to say? And he's just like, no, my wife told me not to say anything. I don't have anything good to say. And his wife's like, I don't have anything good to say either.
So funny. I was like, man, if there's one like, I can't imagine being Clayton in that moment with Rachel's dad sitting across the stage, glaring at him.
See, here's my way of avoiding being in situations like that is to not be an idiot.
Yeah. So Clayton tries to apologize again. Says he made a lot of mistakes. And then Rachel drops this bomb. Did you tell me you were in love because you wanted to sleep with me? I was like, ooh, we went there. But he, of course, says no. But, like, what is he going to say? Yes?
Can you imagine?
Like, that's a question that you don't ask because of the answer. You ask it just to put the thought in people's minds, which we were all kind of thinking that anyway. But he's like, no, I really did feel those feelings, and I don't think she believes him.
I mean, I don't believe him.
Yeah, he's kind of lost the benefit of the doubt.
Ugh.
But I don't know. It's also just hard to watch somebody get beat up on, even though he's totally in the wrong. But
yeah, there's been so much awkwardness this season.
Yeah, I hope he takes care of his mental health. The internet is not a happy place for him right now.
Yes, I will say so. So for those who don't know, you should know, because I'm sure it's the best new thing since sliced bread. But Christy live tweeted the episodes, and I forget exactly what you said, but one tweet you were talking about how, like, I won't reveal, but like you were talking about sort of Clayton's future and how you were like wishing him well. And somebody commented on it. They're something to the effect of like, not everybody thinks that.
Yeah, something like you're the only one.
Yeah, like you're the only one.
Yeah, there's a lot more people who can't stand him at this point, which I don't really blame them. It's just, I feel like he was just a combination of being really naive about how the show works. Like, he talked about like immersing himself in the process, but you can't forget about the real world or what happens when people watch it back. And then also just being an idiot, and then also producer involvement, like making Susie have the last date and who knows whatever else like what other strings they're pulling behind the scenes.
Right. It's just funny to see stuff like that. It's like, no, I hope he falls down a well. It's like, wait, like, how does his future affect you at all? Like, hopefully he becomes less of an idiot and learns from his mistakes. Like,
yeah.
No, he must be destroyed. Oh, yeah, that was cracking me up.
So back in Iceland, for some reason we have to do this whole final rose ceremony thing, which makes zero sense considering Susie basically didn't really meet his parents and they never had a date. Like, but okay, I guess we'll do this song and dance. So he puts on the suit. He's got the Neil Lane ring. He said there's hope in this ring.
Yeah. So here's a production question for you. Did they bring Neil Lane to the live finale because he couldn't be bothered to fly to Iceland?
Oh, probably. I mean, I'm guessing once the end of the season turned into a train wreck, they just didn't bother.
They're like, Neil, let's hold off for now. They just went to like a Zales in Reykjavik. I don't know if there are any Zales, but
I guess it's possible he went there, but I feel like if he did, they would have showed it.
Right, but you still got to get your Neil Lane product placement, so.
Yeah. So Susie gets a letter from Clayton, which I don't remember what it said, and it doesn't matter.
Blah, 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 there, you know.
And so she arrives at this location. I don't even know what it was, but it's indoors, thankfully, out of the weather. And his speech to her starts with, "From the moment you stepped out of the limo," like all final speeches do.
Yeah.
And culminates in giving, "If you just please give me a chance." And so she essentially says, "I don't think I'm your person. The kind of love you have for me is not the same that I have for you." And Clayton asked her, "Is there a chance or is it over?" And she says, "I feel like it's over."
Dun, dun, dun.
I was a little surprised by, but so he walks her out. And then Jesse says, "The first time in history the Bachelor is rejected at the end."
Wow.
But
unbelievable.
That was not the end. So,
to the chagrin of all the Clayton haters out there.
Yes, so Clayton is back in studio. And more about following my heart. I'm a better person. So he said things didn't end there. I went back to his normal life. Was reached out to by someone. And so at this point, I really started thinking, well, which girl is this? I don't know why I thought it would be someone else other than Susie, but it was weird that he said reached out to by someone. Like, why not just say Susie?
They wanted to keep the suspense, but I was like, with his decision-making process this season, he's probably married to Shanae by now.
Did you see she was in the audience?
Oh, no, I didn't. I missed that.
Yeah, she and Genevieve sitting next to Aaron. Oh, yeah, I mean, if it had been Shanae, I would have just been like, oh, well, that makes sense.
It's like, oh, yeah, this is another bad decision in a string of long bad decisions.
But no, it is Susie. And so at this point, I'm just like, what the heck? Like, she said it was over. But she now says she was protecting herself. They needed some time apart. Which, side note, it actually wasn't that long. She basically, got her phone back, called her parents, and then, called Clayton. So we're talking within, a couple of days of, filming ending, probably. where they started talking again. So she said they needed to relay the foundation and announces he is her boyfriend.
I gotta say, that is that's years in Bachelor Nation timing. 3 days, man.
Yeah, so they've been together for like the last 4 months, it seems. Jesse asked what changed, and she says they had to reestablish the relationship and also trust.
2 days later.
Yeah, I mean, so the two issues Susie had at the end there in Iceland, the first one being can't get engaged when you've just slept with 2 other women. So now that time has passed, I suppose that's gone. Like, that's no longer an issue. And also telling other women he loves them. So now, like, in theory,
hopefully
he doesn't love them anymore.
Hopefully he's no longer doing that. He just
so if you
he's
remove,
in like Wegmans checking out, cashier. Oh, I love you.
So, like, if you remove those 2 things, I suppose if she really was the one he wanted, and I guess it could work. I don't know. It's just a rough beginning. But they seem happy now, so like all these other couples, I hope they make it. But we'll see, I suppose.
I love how that's always our position is. We hope they make it, but we very little confidence.
Not a ton, although sometimes these Bachelor couples who are like us against the world, sometimes those are the ones that actually do last, where there's like some kind of controversy or whatever, and some of the audience doesn't like you.
Yeah, I mean, that does give a little bit of extra, like, glue, I guess, if you can kind of unite over, like, everybody in the world is giving you crap. It's like, oh, you're the only person who doesn't. Might as well just stay with you.
Yeah, so she says that Clayton says he'll be moving to Virginia. He's left his job, sold his condo, so I guess they are serious enough.
Wow, so serious.
And also, like, for some reason, Jesse is, like, hinting, oh, Clayton, you got a question you need to ask Susie? Like, so dumb.
I mean, ABC would have been so happy if he had proposed.
I know, right? Live on TV. But instead, he gets her the final rose.
Ugh.
Which she accepts.
Again, with the just absolutely weird rose timing from Clayton.
Oh, yeah, well, I'm sure production prompted that as well.
Ugh. Stupid production. Unbelievable.
So, like, at this point, during, like, leading into commercial break, Jesse has been saying, like, oh, the next Bachelorette, it's not Gabby, it's not Susie. Which
I didn't want it to be either of them.
Who did you want it to be?
Look, I don't deal in who I want it to be. I only deal in who I don't want it to be.
Oh. Well, it turns out it is both of them.
Ugh.
At the same time.
Look, that's better than I thought it was gonna be. If they were gonna hoist 2 Bachelorette seasons on me again in 1 year, I wasn't gonna be happy.
So they've never done this before, so this will be interesting. I'm excited to see how it works. Mm-hmm. I'm assuming one pool of guys for both of them to choose from. There could be some good drama in there.
Are they gonna have to, like, compare sheets, and if at least one of them does it, at least one of them likes the person, they stay or something?
I don't know. I was watching I've watched some of Joe Millionaire this season, which has 2 guys and like a pool of women, and so they kind of just like talk to each other about who they want to keep. So it might work like that.
Great. They're just switching up the format, trying to stay relevant.
Mm-hmm. Also, Gabby's dress was like over $2,000.
Dear Lord.
And her shoes about $1,000 as well. So she got the Bachelorette treatment for sure.
And so when is that season happening?
July? I don't remember the date, but it'll be a while from now.
And so that will be before Paradise?
Yes. I guess I don't know at this point if Paradise is happening or not.
Does it not always happen?
Well, yes, it has in the last 7-8 years or so. I think I saw someone say it hasn't been renewed technically yet, so I guess we'll see.
Does that mean the people of the world won't have to deal with us for a couple months?
I guess so. I mean, unless we find something else to talk about, but
Oh boy. Oh dear.
yeah,
Sappy needs some time
Bachelor
off.
for a while.
Sappy needs to have some therapy time and heal his soul.
Yeah, this season was a lot.
Sappy needs to spend some time seeing good role models. No, I guess we'll see what happens. Yeah, we aren't ruling anything out about our future. I mean, we'll be back. The question is always, when? When will we be back? Christy, I think that now is as good a time as any to tell people how they can reach us. So if they miss us over our extended absence waiting for the next season of The Bachelorette, they can check in and see how we're doing.
Yes, you can email us at groupdatespod@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Instagram or Twitter now,
Oh, too. Wow, we are moving up in the world. We're getting real fancy here. Is the Twitter the same as the Instagram?
Yeah, it's just, you can just search Group Dates and Hot Takes or just Group Dates Pod.
Amazing. Wow, shout out to Christy, the only person who knows what they're doing on this podcast. Well, Christy, do you want to learn about the kissing?
Yes. I know we were a little shortchanged this episode, but...
Yeah, well, between the episodes this week, we only had a grand total of 7. However, let me just ask you this: what if you had to guess, what would you say that the total is for the season? Just take a guess.
150.
Oh, Christy, you are so wrong. My unofficial tally is 183.
Oh, wow.
That I saw with my own 2 eyes. Yeah.
Well.
So, he got after it.
He sure did.
We
saw how that turned out, didn't we?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I hope it was all worth it.
Well, I guess time will tell.
Yeah, time will tell. This is usually the time where we say something about, blah, blah, blah. Here's our intro. And our outro. Here's our outro. And we'll see you next week. But we're not going to see you next week. You're not going to hear us. We are going to hibernate for a little while. So, I'm going to make Christy record a new outro for the last episode. The This has been Group Dates and Hot Takes, a Bachelor Nation podcast. I'm Sebby.
And I'm Christy. We'll see you next season.